Hi, and this is your opportunity to leave behind perpetual fatigue and revamp your energy and reignite what is naturally within you using the Gutsy Reboot. And I am going to show you in this little masterclass what is causing your fatigue at the root, not just more symptoms, why you've been stuck in feeling the fatigue and feeling the burnout that you've been feeling, and the three best things that you can do to ditch fatigue and experience the vibrant energy and well being that you're looking for to unlock your life. And I don't want to waste your time by any means. So I want you to see up front that this is really powerful. And you might wonder, you hear a lot of things out there that promise a lot, and they end up being just hot air. So does it actually work? And I want to show you what one of my clients said after doing this same kind of protocol that I'm going to be talking about with you. So she was exhausted. She would go to work where she would work in a pretty high stress job as a director, and she would come home and she wouldn't have anything left for her kids. She was irritable, she was anxious. She would just go basically straight to bed and like wake up in the next morning and do it all over again. And she was feeling so defeated because she would see doctor after doctor, and they would just tell her, oh, looks like everything is normal, sorry, you have all these symptoms. And she had so many symptoms. But going through this protocol that I walked her through and teaching her how to really change her relationship, particularly with food and her body, she was changed like she had never been before. She thought that she could never do it. And she found that she could, and she felt so empowered and so alive, and began to be able to spend her evenings and days with her family in a way that she felt so much more connected. And it was really game changing for her. And so, for me personally, this is a little bit of my resume if you care about that. I am a doctor of nursing practice. I'm trained in functional medicine. I've been a nurse practitioner and a nurse for over 12 years. But what really brings me to this moment is that I struggled so much with my health, and going through nursing school, going and getting my doctorate. I thought that I was going to get answers in those situations, and I was really deflated because I got no answers, and I felt even more confused because what I was taught then to do is just to take these symptoms that people were getting and put a label on it called a diagnosis and give them a medicine to send them out the door. But I knew deep in my heart that what I wanted to give people was real answers. So it took me a lot longer to find functional medicine. But once I did, and I began to really use it for myself, it changed everything about how I feel. And using the approach that I'm going to talk about with you was probably the biggest shift in my own well-being that I had ever had. And it is truly, in the years that I've been running my practice and working with my clients, it is the thing that changes their energy the most. Hands down, it works the best. It gets the most dramatic results. And it is something so simple that people like really don't like can overlook it. So I really want to unpack it for you and kind of help you see how to get there. So we have to start, number one, with why you're feeling so effing tired in the first place. And there are five kind of root causes that I see over and over and over again in the many people that I work with. And the big one is inflammation. Inflammation in your body is a sign that there is damage, right? So something is causing damage to your body, and that is causing inflammation. And inflammation is essentially any reaction of your immune system in many pathways that can happen. And there are three main causes of inflammation in the first place. There are toxins. Those are everywhere. You are exposed to them every day in increasing quantities, particularly in the United States. There are chronic infections. These are not like big infections, right? So not like a flu, not like COVID, but these are often more subtle and they might stick with you for longer. These can also, it can be long COVID, it can be like EBV, it can be mold, but it can often go under the radar of traditional medicine. And food sensitivities. Food sensitivities are another big one. Sometimes it's not the food's fault, and these are not meant to be forever. either. So if you can repair the gut, they don't have to stay around. But I would say those are the three main causes of inflammation. Another root cause is often nutrient insufficiencies. And so, what this causes then is the body's inability to repair. So, you're having damage happen because of one of those three root causes of inflammation, and then you're unable to repair that damage because you don't have enough nutrient resources in your body. This might be happening because you're simply eating nutrient poor food. A lot of processed food just doesn't contain the amount of nutrients that your body needs. Could be because of nutrient poor, like even if you're eating fresh food, it's nutrient poor because it's been frozen, it's been freeze dried, it's been whatever processed to get to you, and isn't fresh enough to really have the amount of nutrients that you need. And it can also be caused by stress. And what essentially happens in a stress experience is that you have increased physiological demands. And basically, that means that the needs, the energy requirements of your body increase, right? So that means you actually need more resources in the form of nutrients. And so, what that basically boils down to is that when you're tired, you're in an energy crisis. So you have damage plus the inability to repair that damage, stress, and that is an energy crisis. And so when you're thinking about how you feel burnt out and you feel like you have nothing left to give, it's because you actually have nothing left to give in your body. And it is far more than just managing stress, taking a vacation, um, taking more PTO. Like it is, you really have to address those other four root causes as well. And so, what this can look like on the outside in your life is that you might be waking up exhausted, needing to hit the snooze button a zillion times. Maybe you only have the energy to go to work. Like that's it, nothing else. Otherwise, it's Netflix and chill the rest of the day. Maybe you feel like you're drowning in a sea of overwhelm all the time. One more to do just sends you like over the edge. Maybe you find yourself looking in the mirror and feeling really disconnected. You don't recognize who you are anymore. You're just kind of feeling like a shell of yourself, really disconnected from that body. Maybe you're no longer fitting into your clothes. The scale just keeps going up and up and up, despite the fact that you are doing healthy things. Like you're trying to find those quote unquote healthy guidelines and you're following through, and it's just getting worse and worse. Maybe you also notice that you have to basically carry a pharmacy with you wherever you go because you might have any number of symptoms that strikes at any point in time. Headaches, nausea, other aches and pains in your body. Like you have to be prepared, so you carry it with you. And what this can look like on the inside are hormonal imbalances, nutrient insufficiencies here, dysbiosis, inflammation, maldigestion, more dysbiosis. These things can just really rack up. This is chronic infections. These are all examples of specialty testing that I do with clients to uncover these root causes, right? So you can see there are so many different markers out there, and these help show the imbalances. And so you're getting stuck in feeling exhausted because you're doing the testing that traditional medicine is meant for, and your doctor is looking at your labs and saying everything is normal. Maybe I've heard a lot too. I've done lots of blood tests and they can't find anything. I've also heard whenever I've done testing, my doctor tells me that I'm healthy, but I feel like poop. So this is you stuck, right? Again, you're eating healthy, you're working out, but you're gaining weight or feeling worse. Your symptoms are getting worse, despite the fact that you're doing everything that you're supposed to be doing. So why are you stuck here? And that's because traditional tests are meant to diagnose. I mentioned that earlier. You basically just take a list of symptoms, you run certain tests, and then you slap a label on it. That's called a diagnosis. And sometimes these are great, right? There's a lot of things that diagnoses in medicine can give us some real answers for. But a lot of times there are root causes that go under the radar when we just put a name on it, but we don't address the reasons why it's happening in the first place. And specialty tests, like the ones that I showed you, are meant to really look for those root causes. And so, what happens when you get stuck is that you're basically missing the answers to what your body actually needs. And when you get stuck, I hear this a lot from my clients, you feel like you don't have any agency. It just you're basically told like, "Hey, what I've done is normal," and then you're not given any other options. So that takes away your sense of choice and often leaves many people that I work with feeling really hopeless when they go see the doctor. They just feel like there's nothing else that they can do and they're left feeling really out of control and frankly very betrayed by their body, which really adds to that sense of disconnection and sometimes dissociation from their experience. And so there are three main things that you can do to really get unstuck. And I really want to drive this home. You don't have to stay stuck. And one is find out your root causes, super important, right? The next is to treat them directly, address them directly. Then you're not kind of going around and just skirting around by focusing on symptoms. Sometimes I think of symptom management like playing whack-a-mole. Like you have to get underneath the surface to really treat them and then deeply nourish your body. And again, if we go back to that original equation of how you have damage, the inability to heal, and stress and that energy crisis that manifests. So, if you can get rid of the damage directly, if you can support your body by nourishing it and reduce stress, then that energy crisis will diminish, right? That energy crisis will go away. And essentially, what that looks like then is that nourishment plus the ability to repair plus getting your body in a state of greater relaxation and ease can help your body heal on real levels, real deep levels. And the most important thing, in my opinion, is like going direct, not playing with symptoms, not just addressing the surface level, but really going internally and going direct. And one of the most common ways that you can do this is by using food as medicine. It truly has been the most powerful thing that I've seen people do. And what I find interesting is I follow some really reputable physicians. I deeply admire their work. And they say over and over again that nutrition science is a joke and that nutrition doesn't really have much of an impact on well being. And I very much disagree with that. And I will tell you why. And I think that's because when we look at a lot of the studies that are out there for nutrition science, they take a big conglomerate of people and treat them all the same. Every single one of them. They all do the same fucking diet. Sorry if you don't curse, but that's my opinion. And it's absurd because you are unique and you are different. And of course, we will find a lot of noise if we try to treat everyone the same. But if we start to treat each person as unique and special and different, and each body as that needing different nutrient requirements every day, then we can begin to actually see a really profound difference. And I want to tell you how that happens. Number one is getting rid of food triggers. And I'm not a big fan of focusing on restriction. I don't like that at all. In fact, I think it creates a really tense relationship with food that is totally unnecessary because food is medicine and therefore eating food and your relationship with food should actually feel quite healing. But getting rid of food triggers naturally gets rid of some of the inflammation and gives your body an opportunity to heal. Less damage, more healing. Okay. So it is actually really important to know if you have any food triggers. And if you do have known food triggers, to avoid those foods for a short period of time. Not forever because you're going to do healing, but a short period of time. Okay. The next is to heal inflammation. If again, you're getting rid of food triggers and you're using a plant forward, like high protein, nutrient dense diet, then you can get rid of some of that inflammation and help detoxify the body quite naturally. And then by doing so, again, you're nourishing your body. You're giving it the nutrients that it deeply needs to do the healing work. So it works. And doing this in a relaxed and supportive environment where you have the tools, you're able to be guided, super, super important. Because again, it kind of puts together and addresses all five of those root causes. And I want to show you how to do that without spending a crazy amount of money on specialty testing. I do love specialty testing, and I think for many people it can be really helpful, but a lot of us don't have the resources to spend. And so I want you to have this tool to go direct, but without spending thousands of dollars on specialty testing, because that's sometimes what it takes. And what I've basically done is create a place for you to do this in the Gutsy Reboot. And so the Gutsy Reboot is something that you can get into and get 5 calls with me over a period of like 5 weeks. And essentially every week I will walk you through the step that you need. I will act as your guide and kind of get you going, give you the resources that you need, so that it feels step by step and really foolproof. You'll get grocery lists, recipes, all that and more, so that you can really go through. And what you're going to be building in that process is your personalized plan. Because guess what? Nobody can figure it out but you. I wish I could, with some magic wand, be able to like just pull up a list and see like exactly what you need or what you need to avoid, but it's got to be you that does the work. Okay. And we can do that without breaking the bank, because essentially it will take nothing. Like, you don't have to take a bunch of expensive supplements that you spend hundreds of dollars on a month. I mean, I've used those protocols with patients again, or clients against in some circumstances, but this is truly the most powerful thing that you can do. And you are already buying food. I guarantee you already have a grocery budget. So all it is just tweaking what you're already using and getting you to put it all together. So, what you don't need, I can tell you this very clearly too, is another one size fits all protocol. As I mentioned, it just doesn't work. I can use other strong language here too. It just doesn't work. And that's why the data that's out there on nutrition science is pitiful in terms of what kind of impact it makes. You cannot do a one size fits all, it won't work. You don't need to yo-yo diet. Again, restriction, totally unnecessary. Sure, figure out what you're sensitive to and actually avoid that thing. But I guarantee you will feel a lot more motivated to avoid that thing when you know how damn good you feel. Okay? It's not that hard. If you feel fucking amazing when you get rid of these food sensitivities, and then you feel awful when you eat that food, you're not going to want to eat that food. It's just not going to be worth it. And then you don't need a crazy intense workout regimen either. Like, your body can heal naturally. Like, you can lose weight naturally using this process, without doing like super intensive measures. And it doesn't have to take super expensive out of pocket testing. As I mentioned, I'm a big, big fan of specialty testing, and pretty much most clients that I work with will do it, when I work with them one on one. But this is a way to kind of get the benefit and the ROI that you're looking for without spending thousands of dollars. And so this program is going to give you basically a personalized plan for your nutrition. So it's just as unique as you are. It's going to teach you to get out of the one size fits all. It's going to give you the accountability and support that you need so you can sail through it, and the grocery lists and recipes so that you can make it plug and play and still enjoy your food along the way, and time back in your day, right? Because when you have more energy, guess what you can do? You can do more things with your time. I have clients that are like, I didn't realize there were this many hours in the day. And now I have to try to figure out what to do with them. Different problem, right? When you have energy, it's a different problem. And you'll get me as a guide. Again, I have been through it. I am a nurse practitioner that has been doing this for over 12 years. And so I get what works and what doesn't work. I've been around the block, and all at a fraction of the cost of what you could spend, for specialty testing. And honestly, my greatest question for you, if you want to slow down for just a moment and really think about this, is what will you do with all of your energy? It matters to think about it. And what about like when you're feeling vibrant and radiant? What will you do? What would that be like for you? What would happen? What do you think could happen in your life when you're feeling joy and fulfillment? And I love this quote from Mary Oliver. Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? Because being healthy isn't about being disease free. That's, and that's all that medicine is. That's what medicine thinks, unfortunately. And again, there's a lot of great things about traditional medicine. Major, you can do some crazy things now with traditional medicine, but being disease free does not mean that you are enjoying your life and living it to your fullest or that you are healthy. And ultimately, I think of health as like one of the main means to living your best, most satisfying and fulfilling life, because you only have this one precious and wild life to live. And my goal, ultimately, one of the reasons that I started Vital Journey Wellness is because I don't want to help people just be disease free. I want to help you live your wild and precious life. I want you to feel satisfied and fulfilled each and every day. And I want you to really integrate what that looks like for you. So, yes, like unlocking your energy, unleashing this vibrant radiance, like let's do it. Let's go. And let's use food as medicine because it doesn't have to be crazy expensive and it can repair your relationship with food on really deep ways. But let's do more than that as well. So, your dream life is waiting for you if you're ready to go all in on it. And if you want to join the Gutsy Reboot and revamp your relationship with food, really reignite your energy as you get rid of inflammation, and do this deep nourishing of your body through this challenge, then if the doors are open and you can join for as low as $56 a month and get unparalleled support as you go. And if it's not right for you, totally okay. You will find what's right for you. I trust your intuition on that. But just know I'm here and I've got you.